Are you struggling with Vorkath's mechanics? Does his acid phase stack you out even though you could have sworn you were still moving? Did you just beat Dragon Slayer 2 and just want to learn how to fight this boss? Well then you're in luck because this video is going to cover everything that you need to know about taking down Vorkath. Vorkath can make your RuneScape account seriously wealthy. However, if you aren't taking extra precautions online, then you're leaving yourself and your GP seriously exposed. You definitely don't want to be one of those people posting about how you got hacked on Reddit. So I'm super excited to talk about today's sponsor, Aura. Aura provides an all-in-one online threat protection and can help protect you and your family against digital threats that you can't see. You can try Aura free for 2 weeks using my link here below. Aura is really easy to set up, so you don't have to download several different apps to get comprehensive online threat protection. Some services Aura offers include parental controls, antivirus, password management, virtual private networks, identity fraud protection, privacy assistance, and more. And the best part is you get everything at one affordable price. I love that Aura has a built-in password management solution so that I can have a different password for every site and account. That way, when a company inadvertently leaks my information, the blast radius is minimized since attackers won't be able to access my more important accounts like RuneScape with the same password. Let Aura do the hard work of keeping you safe online so you can focus on other tasks with peace of mind. So go to aura.com/runewraith to start your 2-week free trial, also linked below in the description. Thank you to Aura for sponsoring this video. So let's talk requirements. Vorkath is a boss that's fought in Dragon Slayer 2, and as such, you'll need to beat the quest in order to fight him. Vorkath also uses some intense Dragonfire, and you'll need a super anti-fire potion along with an anti-fire shield, Dragonfire shield, or Dragonfire ward. If you're using melee to kill Vorkath, you can lose the shield and just pray mage instead, since the magic protection prayer counts as a source of Dragonfire protection. Finally, I'd recommend 85 plus range and 74 prayer if you're going to be using the range method, and 90s in your melee stats if you're going to use the melee route. Getting to Vorkath is pretty simple. If you've got the Fremnik Sea Boots, you can teleport just south of the dock, which takes you to Vorkath's island. I don't like this route because you lose an inventory slot to the Fremnik Sea Boots. Instead, I prefer to set up a teleport in my POH to Lunar Isle. Here I can bank and then either use the returning orb or speak to a citizen without my seal of passage to be kicked back to Relica. Once in Relica, speak to Torfin to board his boat for Ungael. Your gear will depend on if you're using the ranged or melee method to tackle Vorkath. I'd recommend learning with range because you don't have to contend with Vorkath's melee attacks, and it's a bit easier to dodge the acid. Once you're comfortable, melee may be a better option as you'll save a significant amount in bolts and supplies over the long term. Here are 2 range setups that you can use along with a potential melee setup. Whatever you do, don't forget your enchanted and imbued salve amulet. For the melee gear, if you can afford upgrades, you should grab a Bandos chestplate, primordial boots, a Vernic defender, or Netsanot face guard as they carry a higher strength bonus, leading to faster kills. If you have any questions about the gear displayed here, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer any questions about any of these setups. For the inventory, you're going to need a rune pouch filled with Law, Chaos, and Dust runes for casting Crumble Undead. If you're just starting out with Vorkath, I'd recommend also bringing a Slayer staff because it can auto-cast the Crumble Undead spell. It's just one less interface to switch through in the middle of the fight since you can just equip the staff and attack. You'll also need a super anti-fire potion or extended super anti-fire potion, anti-venom plus, 1 ranging or super combat potion depending on your combat style, and a few prayer potions. If you have a spec weapon like Dragon Claws, Zerite Crossbow, or the Bandos Godsword, bring that since it can really help to speed up kills. Other than that, fill the rest of your inventory with combo eats and high healing hard food. The fight itself is relatively straightforward. Vorkath will begin the fight with 6 standard melee, range, mage, or Dragonfire attacks, and then choose one of his special attacks being either Acid Pools or the Zombified Spawn. Then Vorkath will proceed to do 6 more standard attacks before choosing the other special attack. The cycle repeats for the remainder of the fight. The The first special attack Vorkath chooses is always random, but each special attack thereafter is just the opposite special attack. So if he chooses Acid first, then the second special will be the Zombie Spawn, then Acid, then Spawn, etc. If you're using a range setup, you're better off praying range, since that's Vorkath's most common attack. If you're using melee, then pray mage and tank the range attacks. There's no way to predict what attack Vorkath is going to use, and his attacks can't be flicked, so stick to one prayer based on your combat style and double down on your DPS. Finally, let's cover the Dragonfire, since there's a few different types here. Normal Dragonfire will look orange and should always hit a 0 since you'll have the full Dragonfire coverage. Venom Dragonfire will be dark green in color and will venom you. You can use 2 doses of an anti-poison or 1 dose of an anti-venom to cure yourself. Finally, Vorkath will use a pink Dragonfire attack, which will deactivate your prayers. You should have your quick prayers set up to either Rigor and Range if you're ranging, and Mage Piety if you're meleeing. That way, when the pink Dragonfire hits, you simply have to reactivate your quick prayers. Lastly, Vorkath can use the Fire Bomb special, where he lobs up a fireball into the air, and if it hits your character, it's an instant kill. So be sure to move at least 2 tiles away. It can still hit you for around 60 damage if you're within 1 tile of the blast. Vorkath can use any combination of Dragonfire along with magic and ranged during the 6 standard attacks. So although rare, it could be possible to have 6 firebomb attacks in a row, so be on the lookout. Vorkath's specials aren't hard to deal with, but you need to be prepared for them when they occur. For the Zombified Spawn attack, Vorkath will freeze you in place with a white Dragonfire attack and summon a small crab-like creature several tiles away. You need to equip your Slayer Staff and cast Crumble Undead on the spawn before it reaches you. If it reaches you, it can hit you for up to 60 damage. One tip during this special is to make sure you don't eat until after the spawn is dead. The tick delay associated with eating food can sometimes be enough to cause the spawn to be able to reach you, even though you may have clicked Crumble Undead in time. For Vorkath's Acid special attack, he'll cover the arena in a green acid and start spitting rapid fireballs at your current tile with a 1 tick delay. This means you have to constantly be moving to evade his attacks, since the fireballs hit between 30 and 40 damage each tick. This is why it's recommended to have your run turned off while fighting Vorkath. Each time you step in an acid pool, it heals Vorkath and does a small amount of damage to you. It's always 1000% worth it walking through an acid pool rather than tanking a fireball. When this special attack occurs, you need to relax and start moving horizontally across the arena, and ignore the acid until you have your footing and can easily move to avoid it. With practice, this special attack becomes monotonous and extremely easy to deal with. So one quick tip I have for this phase while ranging Vorkath is to wait until Vorkath starts his acid spitting animation. As soon as he does his attack, move to the back row of the arena, because as long as you aren't standing on the back row while Vorkath does his acid attack, he won't ever throw acid back there. So it's basically like a permanent safe spot as long as you keep moving. With all that out of the way, let's get to a low gear example kill. For this kill, I'm going to be using Void, a rune crossbow, my trusty Salve Amulet EI, snakeskin boots, and adamant ruby and diamond bolts enchanted. It doesn't get much more budget than this, so if you're still having trouble even in this gear, then make sure to get your range level up because it'll make a massive difference. Before we even take the boat to Ungael, we need to check 3 things. 1. Autocast is set to Crumble Undead on our Slayer Staff. 2. Our quick prayers are set to pray range and rigor since we are going to be ranging. And 3. Our run energy is turned off. After this, we'll take a sip of our extended super anti-fire and ranging potions before starting the fight. So, right off the bat, Vorkath turns off our prayers with a pink Dragonfire attack. Luckily, we already set up our quick prayers so that a click of the button is all we need and we're good to go. When the firebomb attack comes, we simply walk 2 tiles away. This attack is actually great because it means we take 0 damage as opposed to Vorkath's mage attack, where we could take a 20 or a 30. Okay, so Vorkath chose the Zombified Spawn special attack, which means we just need to switch to our Slayer Staff and click the spawn. It also means that his acid special attack is coming up next. So when Vorkath does his acid spitting animation, we immediately move to the back row and start walking horizontally across the arena. As you can see, there's no acid back here, so we're safe to just walk. We can also eat, turn off our prayer, repot, etc. Avoid eating during Vorkath's standard attacks if possible, because we need to use that time to do DPS, and eating ends up actually stalling our ability to attack. The rest of the fight proceeds pretty normally. There's not a lot to say here other than switch to your diamond bolts when Vorkath reaches less than about 25% of his health. So Vorkath's next special attack is going to be the zombified spawn. You'll notice here that after I cast Crumble Undead on the spawn, then I eat. This ensures that I can actually get my cast off and kill the minion before the tick delay actually sets in. Finally, I do the acid walk just like normal by moving to the back row of tiles and walking horizontally in between all the tiles. I also use this time to eat up a little bit of food, so I'm at full health before the next set of Vorkath's 6 attacks. And with a couple more fireball dodges, that's the fight. Once you get a few kills under your belt and are more comfortable with the fight, you're probably going to want to incorporate a technique known as Woox walking. Woox walking allows you to continue to do damage to Vorkath during his acid special attack, thus speeding up kills. Woox walking can be done with any weapon, including the lance, blowpipe, or any crossbow. It just depends on your weapon's attack range. In order to Woox walk effectively, you're going to want to move to the edge of your weapon's attack range, click the boss, and then immediately click away. What this is essentially going to do is it's going to keep your character in motion, so Vorkath is always going to attack the tile that you were just at, not the tile that you're currently at. And then this allows you to continue doing damage to the boss while avoiding the fireballs at the same time. For the blowpipe, it's going to be alternating between these two specific tiles because you're going to get dragged into attack range when you click on Vorkath. For the lance, it's a little bit easier because we're going to actually utilize 3 tiles instead of 2 tiles because the lance is a 4-tick weapon. So you simply go between any 3 tiles in front of Vorkath. As soon as your character gets into melee distance, you immediately click away, and then as soon as he hits this line of orange tiles, you click back on Vorkath. It's very, very simple to do, but can take some practice to get the timing down correctly. For the crossbow, you're going to want to be at the very back of the arena since it has the longest attack range. Once you're on that last tile, you're going to do the same thing with the 2 tiles that you did with the blowpipe, except in this case, it's going to be 2 tiles back because of you need to accommodate the crossbow's longer attack range. There are better tutorials which kind of break down Woox walking in more detail in other videos, and this was meant to be more of a basic intro beginner guide to learning Vorkath. So if you're interested in Woox walking, you may want to check out some other videos that I've linked in the description as they go over it in a lot more detail. Hopefully now you're prepared to tackle Vorkath and make some serious cash. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as it really helps my channel grow. And if you're interested in seeing me do some other PVM like Zulrah, Theater of Blood, Tombs of a Masket, or Chambers, then be sure to follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/runewraith_, linked in every video. Thank you and have a great day.